Hi, I'm Dr. Sheehan from Sheehan Natural Health Improvement Center. So in our office, a lot of people come in for help. They want to get better without the use of drugs and surgery. They come in for a bunch of different things, autoimmune conditions, digestive disturbances, hormonal dysfunctions, weight loss, a lot of chronic pain, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, stuff like that. But one thing that I see people, they didn't start coming in with this. But what really improved was blood pressure. They'd come in and their blood pressure would be high, and after a couple months of treatment, their blood pressure would be low. And we were not doing anything to treat blood pressure. And so I decided to look at what caused high blood pressure and what we were doing that seemed to be lowering it. So this is what that video is about. So the causes of high blood pressure, I decided to look it up and see what WebMD says. So to see what the medical model is for blood pressure. So they say the cause of high blood pressure is smoking. Well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows you got to stop smoking. Being overweight, obese, yes, I think everybody knows that too, that will basically increase blood pressure. Lack of physical activity, we all know that we need to get more exercise. Too much salt, this one, as I've seen, the problem is that this only affects 2 to 4% of the population, and that the real problem is, since that sodium and potassium work antagonistically in the body, it's actually a potassium deficiency. So I don't know if that's really that accurate. Too much alcohol consumption, I think people know that too much alcohol is not good for you. Stress, old age, yes, it's true. I mean, everybody knows that stress will increase blood pressure. Old age, genetics, you're just born with it. Family history of high blood pressure, that's linked to genetics. Chronic kidney disease and adrenal thyroid disorder, and sleep apnea. So I looked at this and I said, well, okay, so it talks about all the different causes, but it didn't really say, what can you do about it? And so what were we doing in our office that was bringing down blood pressure? So let's look at the other page. And I decided to look at it differently. Okay? And I said, well, what is high blood pressure? Well, it's basically vasoconstriction, which means that the blood vessels constrict, right? So what are the two most common things that we have a lot of control over that will cause vasoconstriction? While it's true that there's a genetic link, okay, there's a lot of blood pressure problems in my family. I don't have it. Okay, so what am I doing differently than my family is doing? What about, while it's true that obesity it causes a problem, what can we do to combat that? That kind of thing, okay? So what can we do? What's really in our power to decrease vasoconstriction, to decrease blood pressure? Well, what I have seen, the two most common things that are actually relatively easy taken care of, somewhat, are stress and insulin levels, okay? I decided to tackle stress first because of the fact that insulin, I've already done a number of videos, so if you only have, a couple minutes to watch, you can start with the stress, but I'll be going over insulin in a second. So how do you reduce stress? Well, basically, everything in our, maybe not everything in our culture, but most things in our culture right now are meant to actually grab our attention and develop an emotional response. That increases blood pressure. That's a stress type response, okay? That's what we call fight or flight. Anything that initiates fight or flight will cause stress, will increase blood pressure, and will also cause chronic disease, by the way, okay? So number one, turn off your TV, okay? Better yet, throw it out, okay? I haven't had, we have Netflix, I'll confess, but we have not had TV since 2006. And let me tell you, I would never want to go back to it. It's very hypnotic. It's meant to get your attention and draw you in. Number two, turn off your computer, okay? Going with that social media. I know you're probably watching this saying, so I'm telling you to turn me off. Go ahead if you want to, but basically, social media and anything that you look up on the internet is meant to grab your attention, develop an emotional response, okay? That increases stress, it increases blood pressure. Excuse me. Number four, do the things you should be doing, okay? A lot of people, they know they should be exercising more, they should be watching what they do, they should be, saving, they should be, reading about this, reading about that, taking care of this, taking care of that. If you don't do what you should be doing, that will increase your stress, which will increase your blood pressure. So do the things that you need to be doing. If you sit still for a minute, they'll come to you. Set life goals with steps. So if you want to do something, like let's say you want to lose weight, set up a program for yourself with goals and steps along the way, okay? That will help decrease stress. Don't do the things that you shouldn't be doing, okay? We all know certain things that we shouldn't be doing. Drinking, smoking, eating junk food, you know, being too much on the internet, participating in like verbal battles with people, stuff like that. Try to stay away from those things, okay? Don't do the things you shouldn't be doing. Number 7 is a big one for this country, all right? We live in a country of greed. Try to live below your means. This will decrease your stress tremendously. 8, plan your spending on experiences, not things. There was a big study a number of years ago that showed that the people that were happiest actually spent their money on experiences like vacations, trips, hiking, walks, stuff like that, rather than spending on things like cars, doodads, TVs, all that kind of stuff. Spend your money on experiences, not things. So these are all the ways that you can reduce stress. I had a patient come in 2 weeks ago whose blood pressure was sky high. And I told her about, you know, counting her carbohydrates to decrease her insulin levels. And then I said, you know, get off TV, get off social media. And she said, but you know, we live in a computer age world where there's all this information. I said, yeah, and it's going to be there when you get back. You know, you can go back to it in a week if you want. And she said, okay. And I said, instead of doing that, instead of looking on Facebook or going on the internet or watching TV, I said, you know, you need more exercise. Every time you want to do something like that, go for a walk. And she said, okay. She came in last week and she decreased her blood pressure almost 30 points in a week. It was incredible. Okay. So once you're stressed, what do you do? Okay. Well, once you're stressed, you can start meditating. Okay. I try to meditate for about 10 minutes 3 times a day, just to sit still with myself, okay, and listen to what's going on inside my head, okay? I don't go and try to solve things or anything. I just sit there. That's true meditation, okay? If you want, there's actually something called progressive relaxation. That's a good way to learn it, and we actually have a video on it. My wife does it. It is awesome. It's about an hour long, but the first 10 or 15 minutes is actually where she goes over how to do progressive relaxation. So find that video on our YouTube channel. It's free. It's awesome. I guarantee you'll be more relaxed after you listen to it. And I guarantee you will not be able to listen to the whole thing without falling asleep. It's that relaxing. She's amazing. Anyway, 2, walk. Walking will decrease stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. Okay, so walk. Okay, if you can get up in the morning and actually just go for a walk for like an hour, it's amazing for stress levels, okay? If you don't have time during the week, but you have weekends off, go for a couple-hour hike on the weekends. It's amazing. 3, or let's go over here to number 4 first. There's a woman named Byron Katie. You can Google her name. She's got a website, and she has a way of decreasing stress about how you question your thoughts. She is awesome. She is awesome at getting you to decrease stress. Okay, you can watch her on YouTube too. She's probably got hundreds of videos, maybe even thousands. So, number 3, lower your insulin levels. I know a lot of my videos have to do with decreasing sugar and lowering insulin levels. And so we're going to cover it once more, okay? How do you lower insulin levels? By the way, the reason why you want to lower insulin levels, because as blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, and then blood sugar comes down, and then when your blood sugar goes down, then you release adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones, which makes you like chronically stressed. So those blood sugar fluctuations, that's what you want to avoid. 1, cut your carbs, okay? Take, a diet log and actually record how many you're eating a day and start cutting them down. We have other videos on this too. I go over this like a million times. Just watch one of those videos. I go over the whole thing. Number 2, moderate protein. Protein tells your body that you've had enough, and so you'll stop eating too many carbs. 3, moderate to high fat. High fat will lower insulin levels, okay? Moderate to high fat will lower insulin levels. You don't want to couple fat with carbs though, because that's really not good for you, okay? So you want to have your fat with protein. Okay. Number 4, increase veggies. Veggies will detoxify the liver, amongst other things, to actually help lower insulin levels, okay? Number 5, proper sleep. People who are sleep deprived have problems with insulin that are very similar to diabetics. So just actually, like a lot of people will say they only get like 5 hours of sleep, and I say, you've got to get at least 8 hours. They're like, I can't get 8 hours. I'm like, just lay in bed. They'll find once they start our nutrition program, they'll start sleeping more. Proper sleep resensitizes insulin. Decrease stress. Once again, kind of going in a loop here, okay? Stress will also make your insulin very insensitive so that you need more. Number 7, don't snack. Every time that we eat, our body secretes insulin. The more insulin we have, the less sensitive it is, and the more that we need, okay? So snacking is a big problem. We were told that we should have 3 meals a day and like 3 snacks, and that is really bad. I tried doing that, and it made me gain about 20 pounds of fat in like 6 months. Very bad, okay? Stop snacking. If you must snack, if you're really hungry, try a high-fat little snack, such as nuts, seeds, or raw dairy in the form of raw cheese, raw cottage cheese, something like that. Something high in fat so you don't secrete a lot of insulin. Exercise. Exercise, besides decreasing stress levels like walking, okay, exercise also sensitizes insulin so that you need less of it. Number 9, fasted cardio, okay? That's something like every morning I wake up and I try to go run about a mile. I don't run it really fast, I just get moving. And on an empty stomach, okay, it's much better at sensitizing insulin. It also tends to raise growth hormone, which is an anti-aging hormone. Avoid sitting. Sitting, my wife says that sitting is the new smoking. Sitting is really, really bad for you. If you must sit, get up for 5 minutes every hour or something like that. It undoes a lot of its negative effects. Supplements for lowering insulin. I like to use Glycade from Yulin Nutritional Systems, Gymnema, which is an Indian Ayurvedic herb. Also, people who have insulin insensitivity, blood sugar issues, they tend to have low blood levels of zinc, chromium, and magnesium. We also do a type of analysis called nutrition response testing that tests for the other organs and how they balance blood sugar. And we test especially the organs of the liver, the gallbladder, the adrenal glands, and the pancreas, and the stomach actually. They all have heavily to do with blood sugar. So I think that's about it for this video. So hopefully this helped. If it did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And once again, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, just leave them down below. Thanks.